Hi, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Balanced Life Matters, the podcast where we deep dive into psychological theories and concepts and apply them to real life situations. This week, we're going to look into the science of communication and how it can transform your personal and interpersonal relationships. But every week, we cover a different topic, and it's all related and balanced on a balanced life. I'm Jamie, your host and your guide on this journey to mastering the art of conversation this week. And we're going to base this a lot on solid scientific principles. You probably have heard of this scientific principle, the social cognitive theory. And so we're going to really delve into that. We're going to explore the fascinating world of the social cognitive learning theory. And I know, it sounds kind of academic, right? But trust me, it's all about the practical magic of transforming your daily interactions. Developed by renowned psychologist Albert Bandura, this theory illuminates how we learn from our environment and others around us. Now, why should you care, really, right? Because by understanding this, you can consciously enhance how you connect with people both at home and at the workplace. Well, before we continue, I want to share a special opportunity with you. Now, imagine having access to weekly challenges that are designed to improve not just your communication, but your entire life's balance. That's what our membership club for personal and professional growth offers. For only $5 a month, you'll join a vibrant community, all working towards designing a happier, healthier, more balanced and fulfilled life. Stay tuned to the end of the podcast to learn how to join, but you can also click down below in the description and find the link. And I've added a coupon code down there for your first month free. If you haven't been a member before, you'll get your first month free. Join, check it out, and see if it fits. If it's a good fit for you. You might enjoy it, love it. If you don't, you can cancel at any time. Let's move right back into our conversation, and we're going to talk about different communication in different relationships. So let's talk about personal relationships first. It's the heart of the matter, right? Personal relationships. Did you know that active listening can significantly enhance the bond with your loved ones? This is so true. It's not just about being silent while the other is speaking. It is about truly hearing them. Not just truly hearing them, but acknowledging and letting them know through your own cues that you're hearing them. Or even just paraphrasing back to show that you're listening, nodding your head. It's not about being silent. And this isn't just pulp psychology. It's backed by years and years of research. Integrating active listening and empathy into your daily interactions makes for stronger, deeper communications and connections with your personal relationships. But your personal relationships are not the only relationships that you have and that you communicate in. You also communicate in professional interactions. So let's move into the professional realm and talk a little bit about that because it's a little different than personal communications. The benefits of clear communication are undeniable in business. Assertiveness, for example, allows you to express your thoughts and needs respectfully. And that's the key word, respectfully. You can still express your thoughts and needs respectfully and not harm anyone. It makes for room for healthier workplace dynamics. Feedback, when it's done right, is not just criticism, but it's actually a pathway to growth and trust. And feedback can be a great way to just really see from other people's perspectives what you're doing right and what you're doing wrong, and also offering feedback back to the other people can actually create a 360 feedback loop, and they can learn from you. And let's be honest, we can't always see the forest for the trees sometimes we are stuck and we're staring at two tree trunks around us, but there's a whole bigger picture that we're not seeing, and getting constructive feedback can really help with that. Both are rooted in tenets of social cognitive learning theory. And when you see them modeled by successful leaders, you begin to understand their power. So I want to stop here and talk about these two types of interactions and communication and give you an actionable takeaway that you can bring with you that you can use if you want to kind of model this or move from just listening to the podcast, but bringing real life applications to this. So going back to the personal interactions, personal communication, sit down and think about a time when a personal communication went really bad because you weren't connecting with that person and engaging in empathy or giving them the body language cues that you were engaged in the conversation and listening, and how that impacted you. And then think about a time when you had somebody you were talking to that wasn't engaging in active listening with you. They weren't hearing you, they weren't connecting to you. How did that make you feel? Those kind of things are really great lessons to reflect back on. So take some time to think about that. And then in your next interaction, personally, a personal interaction in one of your personal relationships, see if there are ways that you can be more empathetic, put yourself in their shoes and connect with those people on a deeper level, and see if that gives a different response, or if you start seeing a difference in how they react to you. That is the key. And regarding the professional interactions, here's another actionable item you can take with you. We all have role models within our professional career that we look up to. And if we don't have a role model that's close at hand, sometimes we find role models in other places like television or things like that. But if you watch these successful leaders in organizations, or even modeled on TV, they have certain behaviors that they use when they're communicating and they're actively listening. See if you can identify some of those and write those down, and kind of start taking one of those and adding it to your own communication style, and see how that might change your interactions at work. Now, I hope you're enjoying this sneak peek into effective communication strategies. You'll love our free Balanced Life email training, which we have, and there's a link down below. And guess what? It's no cost to you. It's got high value. It's a high value way to start implementing these communication strategies and also creating a balanced life doing that today. So join our VIP email list, and you'll receive a Balanced Life training free straight to your inbox every day. For 5 days, you're going to get tons of value sent straight to your inbox that you can use to start creating a balanced life, and in turn incorporate all of the things that you learn from this podcast along with what you're learning from that balanced life. And of course, we'll send emails out twice a month, so you'll be able to get some updates there, and it'll just give you a deeper understanding of what we're talking about on our podcast. If you're in our membership club, it gives you even more reinforcement, because all three kind of relate to each other. So I try to create content on the podcast that's value added. I create content that's on the email, that is the newsletter, which is value added, and then additional value is added in the membership club, because that is a paid membership. So it's each level gives you more. So if you're liking this podcast, you're liking everything you're hearing, and you enjoy these kind of topics, then join our newsletter. The link's down below, and get started real quick on a email training that comes straight to you for 5 days, just like a mini challenge for a balanced life. So let's go back to the conversation at hand. We're going to talk about bridging theory to practice. Knowing the theory is great. We're talking about social cognitive learning theory, but applying it is where the real change happens. And honestly, that's pretty much with any kind of theory, right? So the deeper you understand a theory, that's great. Being able to understand it, it's great being able to say, oh yeah, I see that. I'm seeing it around me. You will find that as you learn different psychological theories, you'll start to notice the tenets of those psychological theories and the people around you. You just can't not help to notice them. But applying it, that's where the real change happens. So look around you, observe those with enviable communication skills. They're your live models. Try out what they do in your next conversation. But again, like I mentioned before, make sure that when you do that, only do one thing at a time. It's really hard to just try to change everything all at once. But if you're changing one thing at a time, getting that built into your routine, and then when you're ready to try another thing, you can try another thing and build that into your communication routine, you will find a greater level of success because you're not overwhelming yourself. So try that in your next conversation and see the difference for yourself. It's a blend of learning and doing that social cognitive theory advocates for. So this is really something that social cognitive theory looks for us to be doing when we're utilizing this theory, is not just learning about it, but doing the actions and implementing it and applying it to real life. And that's what we encourage you to try out from the 5-day communication challenge that we have in our membership club. And I do hope that you're enjoying everything about this podcast. I do want to take a moment and say, while you're exploring new ways to connect, why not join our social media family? Like, follow, and engage with us on all our social media platforms. You'll find all the links you need in the description box below. Not only will you be part of an inspiring community, but you'll also be able to stay up to date with our latest tips, challenges, and stories. And with that, I'm just going to bring this and wrap up today's episode. Remember that improving your communication is a journey. It's about learning, observing, and refining. Social cognitive learning theory is you can use it as a roadmap. And your daily interactions are the steps that you take. That is super important. If you just take the roadmap and you never use it, it's like putting that atlas up on the bookshelf and you say, I'm going to take a trip someday, and that someday never happens, and doesn't help you get where you want to go. But if you start taking those steps, it will help out a lot. If you're ready to take those steps with us, check out our membership club, like I mentioned at the beginning of the show, and start shaping a more balanced life filled with a rewarding conversations and connections and really great weekly challenges that will help you to continue your personal and professional growth and creating a happy, more fulfilled, and balanced life. Thank you for tuning in. I am your host, Jamie. Don't forget to subscribe to our podcast for more insights into the science of psychology and how it impacts us in our real life. Until next time, wishing you a fulfilling life full of great and meaningful conversations and relationships. We'll see you next week. Bye.